Hey man, if I could whisper one truth into your ear after every heartbreak, betrayal, argument, or moment of confusion with women, it would be this. Detachment is the ultimate game changer. Not apathy, not numbness, but true detachment. The quiet, unshakable strength of a man who sees everything clearly, feels deeply, yet doesn't let any of it control him. Most men confuse love with attachment. They believe that if you care, you have to cling. If you're committed, you have to suffer. If you're loyal, you have to tolerate. But here's the hard truth. The deeper you attach, the more power you hand over. Not just to the woman, but to your emotions, your past, your wounds. You stop leading your life and start reacting to hers. You stop being steady and become tossed by every wave of her mood. You drown in the storm she creates around you. But detachment, that's your lifeboat. That's how you stay afloat when everyone else is sinking. It's the space that lets you love her and still hold your center. It's the freedom to care deeply and still let go when needed. Detachment isn't about becoming cold or shutting down. It's about staying warm and alive without burning yourself to ashes. Most men respond to pain in one of two ways. They become doormats or walls. Doormats get walked on, ignored, and forgotten. Walls block connection and shut down growth. Neither of those states hold real power. Detachment is the third way, the path of the grounded man. The man who doesn't need to control others to feel safe. The man who can walk away without rage, stay without clinging, listen without defending. That man is untouchable, not because nothing affects him, but because nothing owns him. Detachment is strength disguised as calm. It's not a weakness or escape. It's the freedom to love without losing yourself. It's the clarity to see people and situations for what they are, not what you wish them to be. And that clarity is the foundation for true power, the kind that no heartbreak, betrayal, or confusion can steal from you. Detachment begins with one profound realization. Nothing outside of you is permanent. Not her love, not her presence, not her promises. These things may come and go, shift and change. And when you accept this truth, not with bitterness or resignation, but with clear wisdom, something powerful happens. You stop grasping desperately at what isn't yours to hold. You stop chasing certainty in an uncertain world. You stop placing the responsibility for your peace and happiness in someone else's hands. True detachment means recognizing that everything can change, people, feelings, circumstances, and still choosing to remain steady, to be full, to be whole. That unwavering steadiness, paradoxically, is what draws people to you. It's what makes them trust you more, want you more, and respect you more. Because when you're no longer ruled by fear or insecurity, when you aren't reacting out of desperation, you operate from a place of quiet strength. You might wonder why women test you, why they push your buttons, create drama, or withdraw affection. It's not just emotional chaos they're stirring, it's a search for power. She's trying to find out where your center really is. If it's lodged in her, she'll dismantle it piece by piece, sometimes without even realizing. But if your center is rooted deep within yourself, if it lives in you and nowhere else, she can finally relax. She knows she's safe. Women don't want control, they want containment. They want a man who can hold the storm, who can embrace the chaos and yet remain unshaken at his core. But you cannot contain what you're emotionally fused to. If your feelings are tangled and dependent on hers, you lose the space needed to hold that calm. Detachment is that space. It's the pause between her mood and your response, the breath between her storm and your calm. That space is not coldness or indifference, it's mastery. It's the mark of a man who leads from within, who chooses his reactions rather than being driven by them. And that mastery, more than anything else, is magnetic. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing. But I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. Most relationships don't fail because there isn't enough love. They fail because of too much emotional fusion. At first, you start as two separate individuals, distinct, whole, and grounded. But slowly, you become one tangled, overwhelming emotional mess. Every time she's sad, you panic. Every time she pulls back, you chase. Every time she's confused, you feel lost. And you convince yourself that this is what love looks like, but it's not love. It's codependency in disguise. True love breathes. It has space to grow and thrive. It flourishes in freedom, not in chains. And detachment is what gives you that freedom, the freedom to be fully present in the relationship without drowning in it, to be present, not possessed, to be there with her without losing yourself to the tide of her emotions. The key to detachment is this: separate who you are from what happens to you. Just because she left doesn't mean you're unworthy. Just because she's cold doesn't mean you're failing. Just because she's unsure doesn't mean you're unsafe. Your worth was never hers to define. Your value was never based on her validation. Once you truly understand that, the grip she has on you loosens. You stop performing, trying to be someone you're not just to keep her. You stop explaining yourself endlessly. Instead, you start observing, responding thoughtfully, and leading your life from a place of calm and clarity. And that shift, that moment when you reclaim your power, is where true strength lives. It's where you stop being controlled by her emotions and start guiding your own path with confidence. It's where you stop surviving the relationship and begin truly living it on your own terms. Detachment is what gives you the strength to walk away the moment a boundary is crossed and not look back in regret or anger. It's the courage and clarity to say, I love you, but I love my peace more. It's the unwavering understanding that your loyalty to yourself, your values, and your well-being is the highest form of self-respect you can offer. Most men make the mistake of staying too long, holding on to hope, waiting for her to change, or for the version of her they fell in love with to return. But detachment teaches a different truth. If she's not who I need, I let her go. Not out of spite or bitterness, but out of clarity and self-honor. Because a man who masters detachment is a man who can choose his path freely. And a man who can choose is never a slave to anyone's chaos or emotional turmoil. Detachment dismantles neediness, and neediness is the silent killer of attraction. Have you ever noticed how the harder you chase, the more she pulls away? That's because neediness broadcasts weakness. Not physical weakness, but emotional vulnerability. It sends the message that you've made her the sole source of your worth, and without her approval or attention, you feel empty and incomplete. No woman wants to carry that kind of weight or responsibility. It's suffocating. But the man who can detach, the man who can love deeply yet walk away without hesitation if the situation calls for it, that man becomes irresistible because he doesn't need her to feel whole or validated. Instead, he chooses her every day, freely and consciously, and when she stays, she knows it's because she earned his presence and commitment, not because he's afraid to lose her or stuck out of desperation. Detachment sharpens your vision like nothing else can. When you're emotionally fused to someone, your perception becomes clouded and distorted. You stop seeing clearly. You overlook red flags that wave loudly in front of you. You justify bad behavior that chips away at your dignity. You make excuses for things you wouldn't normally tolerate or accept. Your heart and mind get tangled in a web of hope and fear, and you lose sight of what's really happening. But when you practice detachment, everything changes. You begin to see patterns instead of isolated incidents. You recognize the truth instead of clinging to illusions or wishful thinking. You see her for who she truly is, not the person you want or hope she could be. And from that place of clarity and groundedness, you can make decisions rooted in wisdom, strength, and calm, not desperation or insecurity. You gain the power to say, "This woman brings peace," or "This woman brings chaos." And whichever is true, you respond like a king, steady, confident, sovereign over your emotions, not like a servant endlessly reacting to every fluctuation in feelings or moods. Detachment makes you magnetic in a way that's undeniable. Have you ever noticed how the men who seem to care the least, or at least appear indifferent, are often the ones women are drawn to, chasing after? It's not because they're jerks or cold-hearted, it's because they are free. Freedom is incredibly attractive. It's rare, powerful, and deeply compelling. When you're detached, you're not scanning her every move for signs or clues. You're not anxiously waiting for her texts, hoping for validation. You're not twisting yourself into knots trying to win her back or begging for her attention. Instead, you're fully engaged in living your own life, creating, building, and growing in your purpose and passion. And she feels that energy. She senses the shift. Suddenly the dynamic changes. You're no longer the one chasing or desperate for connection. She is. Here's the raw truth. If you don't detach, you'll always be at the mercy of someone else's emotions. Your highs will depend on when she's sweet and affectionate. Your lows will come when she's distant or cold. Your entire day will revolve around her mood swings, and your confidence will rise and fall with her compliments or criticisms. That's not a healthy relationship. That's emotional slavery. Detachment breaks that toxic cycle. It puts your power back where it belongs, firmly in your own hands. You become steady, consistent, and grounded. From that strong foundation, you can build a relationship that's solid and dependable, not a wild roller coaster of unpredictable emotions. Detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means your feelings stop driving the bus. They sit quietly in the passenger seat where you can hear and honor them without letting them control the wheel. You become the one who chooses how to respond. You decide who gets access to your heart and energy. You set the boundaries for what deserves your focus and what doesn't. This isn't avoidance or emotional shutdown. It's leadership. Emotional mastery isn't about suppressing what you feel. It's about directing those feelings in a way that serves your well-being and your relationships. Detachment is the compass that prevents you from getting lost in someone else's storm. Women respect men who don't flinch, not because they're cold or insensitive, but because they are stable, grounded, and unshakable. That kind of presence commands respect and creates safety. Detachment gives you that rock-solid stability. It keeps your feet firmly planted on the ground, even when everything around you feels like it's spinning wildly out of control. She might cry, she might scream, she might test your patience and push your boundaries, but you stay rooted. You don't collapse under the pressure. You don't beg for her affection or chase after her approval. Instead, you remain steady, calm, and unwavering. That grounded presence is magnetic and rare, and the moment she sees that, something powerful shifts. She feels safe. She senses she's dealing with a man who can handle her, not by trying to fix or change her, but by not losing himself in the chaos. This isn't about controlling her emotions or silencing her feelings. It's about holding space for her while maintaining your own balance. That kind of strength is incredibly attractive and creates a sense of security that no drama or emotional storm can shake. Detachment is the ultimate cure to emotional exhaustion. You're not tired because you love too much. You're tired because you attach too fast and too deeply without proper boundaries. Every time she changes moods, you adjust yourself to keep the peace. Every time she pulls away, you panic and scramble to win her back. Every time she's unhappy, you internalize it and feel like you're failing. That constant emotional roller coaster is what drains your energy and leaves you depleted. But detachment offers a different way. It's rest. It's space. It's the conscious choice to feel full, complete, and whole, with or without her validation or presence. It's the freedom to exist peacefully inside yourself, regardless of the storms raging around you. And when you live like that, you don't just avoid burning out, you burn brighter. Your energy becomes a beacon, not a flickering flame. You attract what serves your peace and your growth. You become a man who is truly unstoppable. Detachment is the reason why some men emerge stronger after heartbreak while others fall apart completely. The men who crumble were emotionally fused. They wrapped their entire identity around her love and presence. So when she left, their foundation shattered, leaving them lost and broken. But the men who practice detachment mourn their loss. They feel the pain deeply, yet they don't collapse under it. Instead, they rebuild their lives from the ground up. They rise again, stronger and wiser, because their loyalty was never solely to her. It was always first and foremost to themselves. Detachment also makes you immune to manipulation. When a woman realizes she can pull your strings with a pout, a silent treatment, or a perfectly timed emotional meltdown, she'll use those tactics, not because she's cruel or evil, but because she's testing the limits of her influence and power over you. And if you've tied your worth to her approval, you'll jump through every hoop she sets. You'll find yourself explaining unnecessarily, overgiving, and slipping into roles like therapist, savior, or supplicant, desperately trying to fix what's unfixable. But when you're truly detached, those games lose their power. You don't bite the bait. You don't flinch at the silence. You don't perform emotional gymnastics to win attention or affection. Instead, you stand still. You stay calm and composed. The game ends, not because you outplayed her or fought harder, but because you simply refused to play at all. That refusal is where your true power lies. Detachment is how you reclaim your masculine frame. In today's world, many men have drifted away from the very essence of masculinity, not because they lack strength or courage, but because they are overly emotionally entangled. They've allowed their sense of peace and self-worth to become conditional on her validation, handing over their power to her ever-changing moods, her tone, and every small action she takes. This emotional dependence creates a fragile foundation built on uncertainty and anxiety. True masculinity, however, is about internal control. It's about being calm in the fire, clear in the fog, and purposeful even amidst chaos. It means having the strength to remain grounded no matter what storms rage around you. This kind of power doesn't come from external approval or fleeting feelings. It comes from within. You only achieve this state when you stop needing her to be okay for you to feel okay about yourself. That is the heart of detachment, not cold disengagement or avoidance, but a form of grounded leadership where you remain steadfast and unwavering regardless of what's happening around you. Detachment lets you operate from abundance, not scarcity. The man who cannot detach is trapped in the belief that this is the last woman he'll ever love, the final chance he'll have to experience true connection or feel alive. This fear drives him to cling tightly, tolerate behaviors that don't serve him, and give far more than he receives. He sacrifices his own worth and peace, hoping things will somehow change or improve, even as he loses himself in the process. The detached man, by contrast, knows his inherent value. He understands that the world is full of opportunities and options, that his worth isn't tied to any one person or relationship. He isn't desperate or needy. He chooses her freely from a place of strength and clarity. And if she disrespects the position she's been given, that is, the standards and boundaries that protect his well-being and the life he's building, he walks away. Not out of anger or spite, but out of respect for himself and the life he deserves. This ability to walk away is the ultimate expression of masculine power. It shows that you are the master of your own life, not a prisoner to someone else's chaos or emotions. Detachment roots you deeply in strength, clarity, and true masculinity. It transforms you from someone who chases and pleads into someone who leads and commands respect simply by standing firm in his truth. Detachment ends the war inside your mind. You know the war I'm talking about, the relentless overthinking, the endless replaying of conversations, the agonizing wondering why she's suddenly distant, the spiraling thoughts of what you did wrong. That war exists because you're emotionally hooked to her behavior as if it defines your reality. You've handed her the remote control to your emotions, and every shift in her mood pulls you into chaos. But the moment you detach, that war goes silent. You stop trying to decode her every move and instead focus on protecting your own peace. You stop measuring her by what she says in fleeting moments and begin measuring her by what she consistently shows through her actions. And if her behavior doesn't align with your standards, you exit, without anger, without begging, without needing permission. Detachment gives you clarity in moments when most men lose themselves. When she says she needs space, the attached man begs, panics, and questions everything. The detached man simply steps back and watches. He doesn't assume the worst. He doesn't plead. He doesn't collapse into self-doubt. Instead, he observes. he waits, and most importantly, he continues living his life fully. If she returns with consistency, clarity, and emotional maturity, he welcomes her. If she doesn't, he lets her go, because detachment isn't about hoping she comes back. It's about being at peace whether she does or doesn't. Detachment builds the foundation for self-respect. Every time you let a woman cross your boundaries without consequence, you teach yourself that your standards are negotiable. And over time, you start believing your peace is something worth sacrificing just to hold on to someone who doesn't truly value it. But detachment is that internal switch that says, never again. You set standards not from ego, but from deep respect for the man you're becoming. You enforce those standards and live by them. And the moment someone threatens them, you don't scream, you don't plead, you don't rage. You walk away quietly, calmly, and completely. Detachment doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It means you won't be controlled by it. You will still miss her. You will still hurt. You will still remember the good moments and feel that familiar ache in your chest. But you won't act from that place. You feel the pain without feeding it. You let the emotion pass through you without letting it dictate your decisions. That is true power. Most men confuse strength with suppression, but real strength is the ability to feel deeply and still choose wisely. Detachment lets you do both. Detachment prepares you for real love because it teaches you not to settle for imitation. When you're attached, you accept less than you deserve. You confuse fleeting chemistry for genuine connection. You accept intensity in place of intimacy. But when you're detached, you see clearly. You don't just want love. You want aligned love, respectful love, reciprocal love. Anything less no longer seduces you because now you know what peace feels like. And no woman, no matter how beautiful or exciting, is worth losing that peace for. Detachment protects you from your own illusions. Half the pain men feel isn't because of the woman, it's because of the fantasy they built around her. The idea that she was the one, that this time it would be different, that she meant what she said. But most women don't lie to hurt you, they lie to themselves. And you got caught in the echo of her self-deception. Detachment is stepping out of that echo chamber. It's saying, I see her for who she really is, not who I wanted her to be. And that shift frees you. It saves you from waiting for a version of her that never existed. And here's the deepest truth of all. Detachment is how you stop playing her game and start playing your own. It's how you stop chasing love and start attracting respect. It's how you stop reacting to life and start creating it. You become the calm in the storm, the unmovable center, the man who doesn't lose himself trying to be enough for someone else. And once you live from that place, everything changes. The wrong women disappear, the right ones rise. Your life becomes yours again. Not controlled by emotion, not driven by fear, but led by clarity, power, and peace. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.